Welcome to the Pre-Patch Podcast. And now for the patch notes.
Good old Nintendo doing their Nintendo Direct. Thank you to the GameSpot channel. This is where we have this information and are highlighting this, so GameSpot.com. But Nintendo had their Direct in this February or this they had it yesterday, right? 2 days ago. Well, technically 2 days ago.
2 days
now.
ago, yeah.
The
Yeah.
8th. And before we dive in, any huge, obviously, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom was right there. But any huge news that you guys want to kind of speak of before we dive in? Anything we want to?
I was really hyped about a few things from this. Pikmin 4 got announced, which is pretty cool.
Did they? So I thought Pikmin 4 was already announced. Did they actually showcase anything off this?
Yeah, they showcased some of the new
yeah.
Pikmin. There's a little alien dog companion. Just they showed more of what's going to be going into it. It's
The fuck?
really
I'm
cool.
I'm gonna just make my announcement here. I could give a fuck less.
No
Cool,
shit.
Nintendo. I'm
Shocker.
out. I'm gonna go use the restroom. You guys,
I
you guys
didn't
have
watch
this
the-
conversation.
What the
I don't
hell?
watch this direct.
I don't know why the video is being weird,
I don't know why they're
but
saying.
yeah, they showed off an ice Pikmin that you can use to freeze lakes and freeze enemies and then shatter them and stuff. That was pretty cool. And like I said, there's a dog companion where you and your Pikmin can jump on it. It can ram through walls. Really cool. Really nifty stuff. It's and it looks like there's gonna be full co-op capacity, which is
That's cool.
good too.
Was that in was that? Is it? Are they gonna do online co-op or is it just gonna be couch co-op?
I would imagine it would be both.
That's cool.
I mean, that's the way. Well, it'll either be both or it'll be exclusively couch co-op because I think Kirby Forgotten Lands was only couch co-op.
I mean, they lean heavily into their couch co-op.
Yeah, it's an ideal way, and I wish more game development studios would lean into couch co-op because I think it's heavily underutilized. And it's so simple.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, too, Nintendo's online system ain't exactly the best. Like their infrastructure ain't the greatest.
It's not. It plays Pokemon Unite, okay.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it's fine. Except if you want to chat with somebody, you got to get on a fucking cell phone to do it. Like it's
Fair enough.
So,
But Pikmin 4 was a big one, and then Metroid Prime Remastered was.
I'm excited about Metroid Prime Remastered.
It's already out. You can go play it now.
Wait, what? Is it really?
Wow.
They shadow dropped it, dude.
Oh my god!
They shadow dropped
I
it
didn't get to
and
watch
the
this.
Game Boy collection, Game Boy and Game Boy Advance collection. All of that got shadow dropped.
This was the physical copy. I saw the physical copy the 22nd. I didn't realize. Oh, okay, cool.
Yep,
So
but no, digital is out now.
that may be
pretty
one I
dope.
gotta pick up, dude. I love Metroid Prime.
Yeah, the visual update is extremely good. It looks really good on the OLED screens if you got one of the OLED model switches. But if you didn't play Metroid Prime back in the GameCube era, one of the best first-person shooters that has ever been made, in my opinion. It's super solid, super unique, just a lot of fun.
Definitely best on GameCube for sure.
Oh yeah. It blew most games out of the water at that time. GameCube was underrated, honestly. That was back when Nintendo was actually pushing graphics beyond the other systems.
Yeah, Steph, I think you were going to say something about Metroid Prime.
Oh no, I just said I didn't get the chance back then to experience it, so I might take a look at it now. I used to love playing my GameCube though. There was a lot of great games on there. Surprised I didn't actually get into it.
There's another one here too. This one, I don't know about you guys, but I played with my DS. I played the shit out of Advance Wars.
Advance Wars is a good one.
Love
Yeah.
Advance Wars, and the fact that they're now doing this one with Advance Wars 1 and 2 reboot, I'm super stoked about that.
They're. Go ahead.
I would say I don't. Did they announce if this is gonna have online capability? Like I really hope it does.
I don't think they did.
Okay, I gotta hope that they have fucking online capability with it because that would just. It's such a good game. Such a good game.
Yeah. They also are remastering Tales of Symphonia, which is one of the best JRPGs ever.
A lot of big titles.
Yeah,
A lot of big titles.
it's a lot of remasters, just bringing them up to modern standards. But it again, another GameCube era game that is one of the best in its genre.
Yeah.
This is one of the things too that I will say about Nintendo, whether you like them or hate them. Enigma, you have to give them credit, is that they do a very good job of this right here, of keeping archives of their games and bringing them back. Like they just added original Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games to their library.
Yeah. And they showed what games are out, and then they've also are going to be continuously updating and adding more titles to those selections as time goes on.
That's so smart, man. Like that is just, it's such a brilliant, and again, kudos on them. Like Nintendo, they do a great job. Like the fact that I'm able to play Super Mario Land 2, Tetris, Link's Awakening, DX.
Well, we know how you feel about Tetris.
I love me some fucking Tetris, boy. But just all of that kind of stuff, man. Like Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, great game. Like OG Fire Emblem, great fucking game. Like
I was talking to my cousin about this, and my biggest critique with this kind of stuff is, why would I pay a monthly subscription fee for this when I could just emulate it? And he brought up the good point that it's not about the ease of access and whatnot, because I'm an above average as far as tech stuff goes. Most people aren't going to have either the equipment or the know-how to properly and safely emulate games, especially if they didn't want to go the piracy route. Like, most people don't know or don't have the equipment to dump ROMs to properly run an emulator, like, quote unquote, legally. So it's paying for the convenience, and with time being money these days, the amount of time you save setting that stuff up by just inputting a credit card and just having access to it, well worth.
I mean, also too, the Nintendo service online, I don't think is that expensive. Is it comparable to the other ones? Like, I think is it like 20 bucks?
I'm not up. This is one of the the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance tier is one of the more advanced
I thought it was
ones. I'm trying to see what it is.
Yeah.
But
I know that I know they have like one that's like 20 bucks a year or something like that. This one may be like, I thought it was still like only 50 bucks for the year, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, I could be wrong on that one. But I don't know. Even to me, like the backwards compatibility that you get with, like, I mean, I love the fact that they added Nintendo 64 games. They added, I'm waiting for when, like, are they adding GameCube games, or are they just doing remakes, do you think, of GameCube? I don't know if they're gonna.
I think they're just doing remakes or like remasters of the GameCube titles, like the big GameCube titles.
Yeah, well, that's where I'm wondering how far is it that Sony goes, or Xbox goes? Well, it's really Sony goes with allowing these games to be done, or going into like the remaster territory. Like, are we going to start seeing, other games be brought to the platform that are from an era that's very close to this, right? Like PS4 and things of that nature. So same thing with this.
I don't know. I highly doubt it, but it's just me.
Octopath Traveler 2, that comes out like in 2 weeks. Super excited about that.
More Final Fantasy. It is the $50 a year.
It's $50 a year. So that's not terrible.
No, not bad at all.
60 for, I think PlayStation Plus is $60 a year, I believe. So it's a little less.
More. I thought it was like $20 a month or some shit.
Well, there's different tiers that you could pay, but I believe the yearly is 60.
We obviously got Splatoon 3 DLC.
Am I the only person that doesn't give a shit about Splatoon? I understand it's like Nintendo Switch's like best-selling game.
It is fucking huge in Japan, dude.
Yeah.
Like over in the East, it is fucking
I'm with you, though.
huge.
I'm not big on it. I don't think I ever will. I used to play a different paint game called Blob. That was fun, but that was the extent of like painting.
One over there, they're very strict on their rules and regulations when it comes to like killing and showing off that kind of stuff. Like,
funniest thing too is because of that, they had a streamer that would paint the ground with a green and chroma key it out to be like corn.
That's funny.
Oh, it was hilarious. So
I don't think that was that streamer doing. I'm pretty sure that was a hacker in there.
It was a hacker.
There was a hacker that kept getting targeted, and she every time she'd paint, she'd be like, "Ah!"
Oh God,
that's a different type of Splatoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, Bill. I think we're in the same. But again, I don't think the West looks at Splatoon the same way that the East does.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat for all.
Okay, that's there's just
So back to the comparison point. So the PlayStation Plus packs, the basic is $60 a year
Yeah.
for the basic version. The premium is $120 a year.
Yeah, that's it.
okay.
So depends on what you're looking for,
Yeah.
but $50 a year for what they're offering is a fairly decent deal.
Yeah, considering most people spend fucking $20 a month on damn Netflix. So
Yeah.
I don't.
This is
And
a
you
game
better
I don't
not anymore.
This is a game this is a game I'm not gonna say this is a game that I liked or I did like when I was a kid or well when I played it a long time
Samba
ago.
de Amigo?
Yeah, it's actually a pretty fun little
Maraca game?
I don't really care about it coming out, but like the new one. But hey man, have at it. But obviously the big one was the Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Right. This is the next
Take the world by storm again, just like the last one.
the next version. I really wish.
I'm cautiously pessimistic about this one. Like it could blow me away, but it just seems like they took Breath of the Wild and then added like mechanics from Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts.
I'm gonna see if I can actually give me a second. I'm gonna see if I can continue to talk. I'm gonna find the YouTube video where I can actually get footage.
Yeah,
so
but it is extremely good looking for like the Switch. This is pushing Switch technology as far as it can go. It seems like it's going to have a much darker tone to it. We're going to see basically Hyrule get destroyed again from what it looks like. It's all the way at the end.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see if there's anything there.
But it's the new mechanics that it looks like they've added is taking like ancient tech and stuff and being able to rebuild some like vehicles. Like there's a Land Rover that they showed. They showed a hovercraft. They showed a raft type thing. Like being able to build stuff like that from the ancient tech or whatever, which very much resembles at least the building. I'm assuming you're going to be able to like hand build these devices because they look very modular. It reminds me of Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts,
which is a great game. Great
game. Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad system for them to integrate. But holy, I didn't notice the giant fire hydra on the bridge back there. That was actually kind of cool.
This is I mean, look, the last Legend of Zelda. Why am I blanking on the name? I literally
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild. Thank
the
you.
Wild. Yep.
I mean, it really did reinvigorate and rechange the way that a lot of open world games kind of did with a lot of things. Like it brought it expanded it, right?
I'd say it heavily impacted Genshin Impact, and that game was huge too because of it.
Of course. So I have no doubt that this one will push the genre farther. Again, whether Enigma likes to admit it or not, it will inevitably push the genre forward.
I don't know how much room they left themselves to push the genre.
I never said that I didn't care that it pushed the genre for it. I just don't give a shit about Nintendo.
Or you said you hate Nintendo. Get out of here. I don't
Yeah, like some Sony fanboy.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Nintendo at all. No. But I can say 100% Breath of the Wild was a big thing for him. It was a sign of them moving into a different genre of game.
It's not just them. It's
oh, it's not like you can play Zelda Breath of the Wild on a fucking PlayStation. Like
I mean, you can if you're smart enough and savvy enough to do it.
Do you think
who else is it benefiting? It's benefiting fucking Nintendo. Like it's not benefiting anybody else.
Do you think that they are going to have seen like Elden Ring's open world success, and do you think there's going to be any Elden Ring-esque systems that are integrated into this?
Like what? Like invading?
No, not necessarily, but like, do you think they're going to tone back on like the destructible weapon, like your weapon durability and stuff? Do you think they're going to have more?
How big does Elden Ring do that this game doesn't? Like they're both
more reliance on.
They're gonna double down on the durability. You're gonna be able to hit things twice before your fucking ship breaks.
No, I'm thinking like
Instead
map
of 4
design and
times.
stuff, like less dependence on UI and like letting people like explore, like having interesting map set pieces that are going to draw people to them instead of more UI based stuff.
Yes, like absolutely. There's no way that they did not look at what Elden Ring has done and say that we made like Breath of the Wild was, you could kind of argue, is baby's first Elden Ring, right? Like when you're talking about like that kind of thing, and then looking at now this and going, we need to now match that. I mean, even like the set pieces. If you look at this, like if I'm looking at this, like I am getting an Elden Ring vibe off of it, right? Like just the
I was gonna say it does.
Yeah.
It gives me big Elden Ring vibes just looking at some of the the landscape that they're showing off. I'm like, yeah, I mean, that
and
looks like they just copied that right out of Elden Ring,
and
kind of.
and the first one didn't really have like open world bosses per se that were just like randomly roaming the grounds, and you would kind of stumble upon, like, obviously, yes, you had the different dungeons that you would go into, and the what was the name, it was like the beast, what were they called, the man.
Yeah, the giant robot, like
Yeah,
elephant and bird
right.
and stuff.
Yeah, that you would go and go after. But like I think that they're gonna look at that and go, we're gonna make we want to make this more encouraging for people to explore the world, and the way that you do that is add in stuff like that. I think this is cool too. Like you said, the modular stuff. I didn't get to see this trailer until now, and seeing them do that, like that is dope. Like that is a really cool aspect to do it. To, like if you can build.
Like I said, nuts and bolts, man.
Yeah.
Banjo Kazooie was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Minecraft, bro.
That's where it's at.
Redstone.
Yep.
I would like to say we are getting down to like the 10-minute marker. If anyone has any questions pertaining to like the topics that we've talked about on the cast, do get them in the chat now, and we will make some time to answer them.
Yep, for sure. Yeah,
I will say, if the one thing I am impressed about, I think this is correct. I've heard rumors they got Matthew Mercer to voice Ganon, like the dead Ganon, which that's dope. Because he's always wanted to do Ganon. Like he's openly come out and said that he wanted to voice Ganon at some point. That's kind of
Matthew Mercer's dope.
It is all speculation at this point.
Is it all speculation? Okay.
Well, the one thing that's not speculation on it,
but I would not be surprised,
is the price tag for this game. You might want to. Anybody want to talk about that one? Go ahead, Enigma. Go ahead.
Thanks, Sony.
Thanks, Sony.
Thanks, Sony.
It is a $70 Nintendo game. The first $70 Nintendo game, I believe.
That's really odd too, man. I would have thought Nintendo would have been the one that would have hold out.
That's really not that odd though. Like this is their selling fucking game. Like of course they're gonna boost the fucking price of it.
Nintendo, I don't know, man. Nintendo
this game this game is literally a console seller.
I'm not denying that, but they've also always pushed back on that kind of stuff. Like they've again, we just talked about their online service. It took them forever to get to a $50 price tag. It was always $20. Like, for the longest time it was $20. And now it's 50, right? And it's still cheaper than the other two, like Microsoft's and Sony's.
Again, I'm telling you, Sony. Thanks, Sony.
I'm not arguing that point, but I'm just saying that it's a shocker to me that they're.
I can just see the anger rising in Bill.
I think what's even more
he's over there like this.
Absolutely molding in my chair.
Like Sin's portrait.
Yeah.
What's even more weird about this too is that they came out and said that this is not the norm. Like this was like a gonna be kind of a one I don't want to say a one-time thing, but they were basically saying like, look, like not all of our games are gonna be $70. It's just weird to me that then why? What I mean, aside from it making it feel like, yeah, we're doing it because this is a console seller. Like we know we can charge out the ass for this. We could probably charge $100 and people will pay for it.
Probably,
like,
more than likely.
I mean, I feel like that's exactly it. They know they can get away with it.
Who? Okay, so I'm sorry, Bill, but which company do you think is going to be the first one to up the price to $80?
Sony.
Bill's like, you motherfucker.
We gotta stop poking Bill.
Hey, you know what? I don't ever get to be on this side. I always have to be on the one that's poked.
Yeah, we don't do this to Bill.
Listen, if it's another 20 plus years before $80
Thank you.
games happen.
Look at that. Look at that in chat. Thank you. Look at that.
I mean,
Exactly. Drop the fucking mic. Right
Sony's
now.
Well,
just
I mean,
keeping on
look,
everybody's
Bill-
shoulders.
realistically, like Bill has got a very valid point. Is that yes, Sony is the one that did it first. Well, did it? They upped the price, but and I mean, it is still like you're talking about when you're looking at inflation in games and things of that nature. Like the price of games.
No, 100%.
Actually should be quite a bit higher. And when they originally launched, I mean, they were like you're talking like hundreds of dollars for games, way back in the day. You know, I will argue the point that it is fucking stupid that we're more expensive for digital versions of games. We're getting rid of
no physical at all.
and yet the price is staying the fucking same. That doesn't make any sense. to me.
That's the only thing for me. That's the case.
It's like I said last week. You know, when I was trying to explain it to Bill while he was raging at me, I do blame Sony, but I also blame the other companies for following. Like it's 100%. Like Xbox could have been like, no, we're not going to do that. Sorry,
But they did.
but they did,
And now Nintendo.
and now Nintendo did.
Yeah. So
It's
It's
just
not
it's one of those it's an instance of like the domino effect, right? One of them knocks down the other one knocks down the other. It's going to happen one way or another.
Thanks, money. There you go.
Hey, goddamn capitalism. Ugh. Thank you for checking out the patch notes. If you enjoyed this small selection from our podcast, come join us every Thursday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern for the full unfiltered pre-patch podcast. And check out our past shows on anchor.fm/prepatch podcast.